Innovation. I'm up here with Steve Despain of Firebox, and we planned us a little fun little camping trip here, and he's cooking some stuff over on a couple other Firebox stoves. We'll show you some of that in a minute too. But what I'm going to do this morning is decide to make some cornbread, and we're going to do it oven style. So what I've got is the Nano stove down here. And inside the Nano stove, which fits in there really nicely, is the transient alcohol burner. And what we're going to do is use that as our heat source. I could also use, of course, wood, as you've seen before, where I fuel it with wood and that sort of thing. But to do this is kind of a slick way. We actually did this at a show about a year ago, and we were making actually yeast muffins with the same idea. We had fresh muffins coming out about every 15 minutes, and it worked really well. So we used the stove here as our heat source, and it works really nicely. And with these legs on the stove turn out for a wider pot, and this is a 3-quart stainless steel pot. And what I do with that is, inside the pot I have three stones. You can see the size of them, and what they act like a thermal sink, so they capture the heat that we put off initially from this stove underneath there, and then we'll put our cornbread mix inside the stainless steel cup. That'll sit on top of those rocks, and then when we put the lid on, what we've done is we've turned this 3-quart pot into literally an oven. Because to have an oven, you have to have this heat contained inside of something where it can kind of circulate around. So we're using this 3-quart pot as actually the oven. And so what we do first is we'll light up the stove, and we'll get this thing good and hot, and then we'll add the cornbread mix to it, and then we'll run the stove till it cooks. I haven't done it before with cornbread, so we'll have to see. I've done it with yeast rolls. I kind of got that down, so this will be a little experimenting, but that's half the fun of doing this stuff, is seeing what you can come up with. So then I can light this stove however, with a lighter or whatever, or I can use one of our fire starters or something like that. And I've got this Doan one that I've had for 32, 33 years, I guess. It's getting wore down a little bit, but I can put that in there and throw a little bit of spark in there off the striker, and I've got it's going now. And this works really well, except for one that if you're really in cold weather, like below zero, the alcohol is too cold for the sparks from this thing to start them. So then you have to use a match or a lighter or something. But you know, it's not bad weather out here now, so it works really nicely. So I'm going to let that stove get going here for a minute, and then once it preheats here, you'll hear a little pop, and then the flames will come out of the little holes in the perimeter of the rim there. And once it gets to that point, we know we're rolling good, and then I'll put the pot on. I guess while we're waiting for that, maybe I'll show you what Steve's doing right over here. He's got, right here is the original Firebox folding stove, which that thing is just a fabulous stove. You can cook some big stuff on that deal. It's really nice. And he's preloading it with fuel and make a nice bed of coals for doing some cooking. And we'll show you some of that as it goes along too. And then next to it right here is he's got a Nano stove like the one that I'm using here, but he's just made a new adapter for a butane burner to snap down inside of there. So he's cooking some potatoes and stuff, gratin potatoes, inside there with the butane stove. So we got 3 different things going. We got wood going here, we got butane going here, we got alcohol going here, all with these Firebox stoves. Which, that's what's cool, is there's a view of the... There's the burner. Let me
The burner.
Zoom in a little on that. So you see the gas burner inside of there, and that deal is really nice. I mean, that thing can be a blowtorch, or you can turn it way down and just it'll be just really, really nice. So it's kind of you can hear the roar of that, and that deal right there. So it's got a really nice adjustment on it, and that uses the Trangia adapt burner is basically what it is. So anyway, so that's really cool. And get back here and see if we're about ready. It's almost ready to kick over here. I think that's good enough. I'll set this on here. Now the bottom of this has got this discolored from when I did that show, cooking all those yeast rolls, dinner rolls. Because this thing's going to get real hot, because the flame is right on there. We're heating this up and heating the air inside of there till it's oven temperature, basically. And then we'll stick our cornbread in. So we'll cut off here, and I'll be back to you kind of as things progress along here. Okay, so this is coming along pretty well. What I usually do, just to judge the heat, is the bottom of this is getting very hot already. And when I get so I can't touch the top, it's just about burn your skin to touch it. That's when I know the internal temperature in there is pretty good. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set this cup in there that we're cooking the cornbread in, and I'm going to set it in there to preheat it. I usually like to get, when I cook cornbread, I like to have my pan or whatever preheated pretty good, so it kind of crispies a little bit. I don't know if we'll get to that point with this, but like I said, I can do dinner rolls in here really well, but we'll just see what happens with cornbread here. We'll let that run a little bit and get that nice and hot. And we'll pour a little cornbread batter in there, and we'll see if we can make up something delicious here. So there's Steve. He's got his big stove running, and he's burning that down to some nice coals. He's broken up a lot of maple twigs that are around here, so they're kind of a hardwood, so they'll make some really nice coals. And putting some bacon in this pan. So we're going to cook up some bacon, and then over here is the gratin potatoes. He had them in that pan, reconstituted with water, because they were dried, of course. And now he's got a little bit of heat on there, and starting to cook those. And then down here at our pot, with the cornbread, we're just waiting for this thing for the oven basically to heat up a little bit to where we're ready to dump some cornbread in that little cup. It's just a stainless steel, GSI stainless steel cup's all it is. So.
But it's on.
Okay, here we go. All right, this is about. I can't leave my hand on here without burning it. So we're pretty hot in here. So I'm going to pull the lid off and grab this stainless steel cup out of here. Put the lid back on. I like to preheat that. Hopefully you can see it here. I just got this porcelain bowl that we're making do with what we have here. I just happen to have this cornbread mix in there, so I think I'm going to pour it. I don't know how much. Probably a third full. And then we'll cook that. Since I haven't done this before, I'm not sure. I don't want to get it. I'm afraid if I pour it too deep, maybe it won't cook in the middle. So I'm hoping that right there will be about right. So we'll go ahead and put that in here. Put our lid back on, and we'll see what happens here. We'll get this oven rolling here. And one thing about it, because I've got that thermal mass in there, those rocks in the bottom, once they're preheated like they are now, if I wanted to continuously crank out cornbread muffins or whatever inside this oven, it's already preheated, so I can pop them out, stick something in. I can keep cycling, which is what we did at the show last year. Once we got those dinner rolls going, we were just cranking them out one after the other. It was pretty quick, and it's kind of a fun way to do this. I mean, maybe it's stupid, I don't know, but I don't know. I like to try different things, and they're just kind of fun. Just a fun way to use your stove. And I could do this with coals or with fire or whatever too if I wanted to. Just right now, just wanted to show you doing it with the alcohol.
Well, I've got plenty of bacon grease in here now. I think I'll use some of it into the spuds.
All right, Steve's back there cooking that bacon up. You could hear that stuff sizzling and frying a little bit. We're waiting for our first cornbread muffin to get done. It's coming along pretty good. I thought I'd show you a little fun. I think I did one or two videos just on some carving stuff that I'd been playing with. And here's a little cup I'm making, and it's off of a quaking aspen tree. We call them quakies around here. If you call it a quaking aspen around here, they'll think you're weird. But anyway, so right?
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, the quakies get a tendency to form a lot of odd little growths and knots on the trees. So this was sitting there on a log, on a tree that had fallen, and I sawed it off right here. And I liked this little other part right here, which was kind of rounded before. I thought that'd make a nice handle, and so I did that, and then I sawed it kind of like that, so it'd be more of a handle. And as it turned out, as I was trying to work with it, this part kind of broke off because it turned out it wasn't connected very well wood to wood. So to salvage, I just put some epoxy in there. I thought, well, what the heck. But anyway, so now I carved this out with my knives, and now I've graduated in the sandpaper. I'm down to a 220 grit, and so now I'm starting to see a lot of the figure and that sort of thing in the wood, and I'm just trying to smooth it up a little bit. And it's kind of an odd shaped cup because I wanted to maintain pretty much the overall shape and dimension of this little growth that I cut off the log there. So, but it's just kind of fun to play around with and see what you come up with. So anyway, that's an intermission for this video. So now let's open the pot here and just see how our muffin's coming along. Looks like it's doing pretty well here. We're just looking for the let's see here. Just looking for the top to kind of brown up a little bit, finish off, and I think we'll be good. So there's Steve cooking away, Mr. Chef.
Got some nice browning going on. These spuds are turning out pretty golden brown, beautiful.
They look beautiful, and you notice the bacon over here is kind of disappearing. I think I keep snacking on it.
It's hard to resist.
He cooked it like just perfectly, like it's brown and everything. It's crispy, but it's still got a little flexibility to it. So I mean, it's like, for me, I mean, that's like the perfect bacon right there. It's ready to rock and roll. I think I'm about ready. Turn back here to this pot, this oven I got going here. I think I mentioned earlier that I had mixed the cornbread mix a little bit thinner than I should have, and plus we're at a little bit of altitude too, so I put a little bit of some pancake flour in there to try to thicken it a tad, and then I did wind up, I think it's pretty good because I see it's browning on the edges here. Let's see if I can get right over it, maybe zoom up a little. There we go. It's browning a little bit around the edges, and it's pulling away from the edges, so it's done. I'm hoping it might be burnt on the bottom, but I hope not. But I was trying to cook off that excess moisture a little bit on the top, so hopefully I haven't gone too long. But if I have, then we just call it campfire cooking. But it looks like all the moisture's gone out of it. It's pretty good, so I'll get this thing popped out of here and we'll take a look at it. See what we have.
You gonna pop it out right now?
Yeah. I don't know where to pop it out to. Let's see.
I need some salt and pepper.
Actually, I should. Well, I'm going to cook some more though.
Do you have some salt and pepper up there I can find?
I do, in that big bin up there.
Okay.
It's on the bottom, I think, on the front, towards the front of the truck. Okay, well, let's see what happens here. See if I can get this thing out of here even. I tried to kind of grease it up a little bit with some oil and stuff.
Drum roll.
So hopefully, I was hoping we don't have to pry it out of here.
Oh, there it comes. That doesn't look burned at all.
It's not burned. I get stuck a little bit in the bottom. It's probably too deep of a cup and straight sides. So it's probably, but it's not burnt on the bottom at all.
It is fully cooked.
And it is cooked all the way through. So we'll slice this off a little something. I mean, cornbread, you should just tear it, but you know. There you go, Steve.
Thank you.
And this is a sweet cornbread. I really love it. It's like eating cake. But
yeah, that is delicious.
there you go. So I mean,
call that a success. Hey, I have some butter over here.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, he's got some sweet butter. But so see, you can turn your Firebox stove, your Nano stove, or anything into an oven just by using a large pot like this. I mean, it's a great additional way to use your stove. That'd be good. It's a great additional way to use your stove is to turn it into an oven. And it does take a little bit of playing around with it to kind of get it dialed in just right, but
a little bit of practice.
But anyway, bon appetit, I'm telling you what, this is awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Barry.
So anyway, so the stones, they give us some elevation and they give us a thermal mass, so we have some retained heat in there. And so that kind of helps us. And once you get started with this, you can do a series of these things over and over, and it's very easy to do and to take care of.
Because your rocks are already
hot. Rocks are already hot, your pot's already hot, your oven, you're ready to rock and roll. Very good, man. Bacon, egg, potatoes, cheese, burrito. Living high here, living high.
Heck yeah.
And we had cornbread muffins for dessert.
Heck yeah.
We already had it.
Delicious.
That's the way to eat. That's the way to live. We'll make our own rules out here camping.